Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a very special build for Wolcen. Today we'll have an infinite rage build with my berserker build. So yes, I'll be tweaking a little bit offline, and we had requests on the berserker build that's online to tweak it offline. And after having some insights with friends on Twitch and sharing a few ideas, I came into the build eventually that how do you have infinite rage, or pretty much infinite rage. So there are a few things on this that's very interesting. Let me share you guys directly into the talent tree. The first perk we'll be looking at is the Heat of Battle. So each time we take damage, we gain 25 rage. And that's not all. There's one more perk over here. Only two I found in the whole talent tree. The second one is the Wind Breath. This gives us another 10 rage per damage taken. So now we're looking at 35 rage. There's one more small perk that gives us 10% rage per hit taken. So plus 10%. So that means we're getting about 38.5 rage when we take damage. We also of course take this perk, increased rage per kill. So 35 rage per kill, 38 rage per damage taken. So how do we constantly deal damage to ourselves? Well, that's easy. If we debuff ourselves with bleeding and rend, we'll be constantly doing rend, bleeding damage, and we'll be debuffing ourselves with toxic damage. So that's what I meant. So this particular perk, God Announcement, make us only deal rend and toxic and increase our damage output, and this guarantees we debuff ourselves and we'll be constantly doing damage to ourselves. When you do damage to yourself, you're regenerating rage at about 38 or even more every second because you're killing enemies, you are getting rage from kills, getting rage from taking damage, and on top of that, the Blood for Blood also gave us 45 rage each time we have this on. So per second 45. So lots of rage regen. And what I did was I tweaked my gears a little bit. Oh, as you can see, I prepared this for you guys to play around with those for the building part, for the building guide. So I tweaked around, so I had a lot of transfer time reduction. So I had 3 of that. So what this allows me to do is when I spend a lot, if I get any form of rage, they come instantly, so they don't delay. This means keep yourself high. And yes, I'm sure you've seen my Bleeding Edge. Why does it look so cool? Oh, I will show you guys. First, I'll show you guys the skill. So basically, the jump. Nothing too special about the jump. We stun, we spend stamina. I'll quickly show you guys here. We don't have to look into it right away. We'll look at it after. So same as here. Sovereign Shout, very similar. So lots of good buffs here. We took away the movement speed because I don't need to move that fast. Tracker's Reach, just for the status effect and additional damage. After that, we have Juggernaut, just for a bit of tankiness. And this is a big part, Blood for Blood. Blood for Blood allows us to increase damage that suffers from damage over time, which they will be bleeding and then they will be also getting poisoned. Followed by that, we explode them if less 10 HP, 10% HP. This also increases our attack speed if they die within the circle of blood. We increase resource generation within the area, so more rage gained. And after that, increase the aura follows us, and also increased reaction, and also increased chance of debuffing enemies. Very good. Followed by that, the biggest pickup for Bleeding Edge is this. The projectile speed, also projectile area effect. This is actually from one of the Russian streamer, which will make a build. He actually taught me a few things. So I was actually posting a video and his friend was saying he had a really good build. So I had a quick look. So he was going for projectile speed. He was also going for increased area of effect. What I went for is critical damage, the increased duration that follows us, and also ailment damage. This does reduce the damage a little bit, but oh boy, is it much better. Check this out. It's massive and it's super fast. So let's go into a fight. Let's see how strong we are. Let's go to 115. Don't need to mod anything. And let's go in. Let's see how we go. So the idea is you start the fight with a shout. This shout actually gives you a lot of defense. And you get the Blood for Blood. You do lots of more damage. And look at this. Much faster, right? Isn't that beautiful? So we do the usual. And yeah, the wider range is absolutely fantastic. Because there's too often at times that I'm just not hitting enemies. I notice my rage is not going down. It's because I'll be debuffing them. And I still hit, 500k there. I'll still do decent damage. That's what I mean. And this is super fast. So overall, although the damage might look a little small. Oh, 9 million, perfect. Let's see how strong we are. Look at the rage, it's not going down. It's still going up. and I haven't reused any much of the rage gain. That was 9 million HP of the boss. You don't see big numbers here, but this is definitely an improvement to damage. Because, you know, big rage, big damage, and big speed. Big attack speed. Oh boy, I'm loving this right now. So it took me a few tries for this, and isn't this wonderful? Yeah, it does require more skill perks, that's for sure. So basically, as long as I can keep spinning, I can regen a lot of life back because I have the, you know, life leech from my shot. I don't have any perks for life leech because I'm actually conserving a lot of them for debuffs, but the shot itself is very strong already. 7% life leech. Let's go find the big boss, and we start to look into the perks and the talents. Very interesting, right? Oof, so beautiful. This is what? 1 million HP and it's gone. It's not the fact that, you know, we do massive damage in one crit, we just kill things fast because we spin fast. Spin for win. Sonic here. The Sonic spin? It spins, right? Okay, the shouting. I haven't even used my other 2 skills, by the way. You saw there. So this is a pain for a lot of you. Oof, so beautiful, right? Oh, lovely, lovely. See, the spin for win with the additional range and the attack speed. And you notice that I'm using a two-handed weapon. It's not that my attack speed is fast, it's the spin that's fast. And yeah, well, I'm loving this so much, I'm keep fighting it. So yeah, very lovely. So firstly, let's look into the stats. What do we add? So I'm looking for about 100k HP at level 90. I'm probably look for about 600k HP when I'm level 70 or a little less and a little more. So HP is just a personal standard. I added toughness enough so I get 100k HP and rest of it went to ferocity. So my base stats are pretty much 1-to-1 and you can always interchange them if you need more HP. So average damage is not a big factor here. The attack speed, critical chance are something I want to look at. So attack speed we can cast faster. By shouting, we get more attack speed and higher critical chance. About 50 is enough for me usually. And after that, what we're looking at is my proc rate is not high, but because I'm hitting so often, I will debuff myself anyways. So I don't have to worry about the proc rate, so I don't have to go into wisdom or agility. Because I don't need attack speed, they spin so fast, the blades are so fast. Now, next thing to look at is block chances, because if we block, we reduce the damage. We reduce enemies' damage, we also reduce the resistance with the weakness. So when I shout, I'm looking at a 69 or 70% block rate, 21% block efficiency, which is really good. Movement speed is also decent. I don't even use any movement speed actually. Resistance, I'm looking at 45% our resistance, and when I actually shout around people, so with this I gain 10 or 15% more resistance for each enemy I shout. And that makes me super tanky as well. After that, I think that's most for our stats, and what we'll do is we're going to the perks. We'll look at the talents and look at items after, because perks is actually a big factor here. So what's happening? I'll name some of the big perks first. After that, we'll go into the, how do we level up with this and how do we transition. Some of the big perks are firstly the Fatal Pack. Fatal Pack means that if you debuff enemies, you also debuff yourself. There's a few special ones, status, curse and weakness. Here we'll only be casting status and weakness, and I won't be able to remove my status to 10. So you remove a curse or remove any of the debuff when it gets to 10 stacks on yourself, that is. So before they get to 10 stacks on yourself, they will have the debuff effect. That's perfect. We want to debuff ourselves with rend and toxic damage, which will be poisoning us, bleeding us, and we'll take a little bit of damage, 5 or 10, you see the pops. Each time we take those, because of this spell, we'll actually be getting about 38 and more rage on top of the kill rage. So I'm looking at a lot of rage every second. I did take this perk because I had more points. You don't really have to, because we are using this not because we want the buffs, we just want to damage ourselves. And followed by that, we spoke about how strong this heat of battle is. We spoke about how good the worm breath is because we want to damage ourselves. And this gives us really good rage regen. So, followed by that, the Dire Juncture reduces the damage takes and we can lifesteal enough to sustain ourselves. The time cannot heal, though we always use that because we can have the status debuff with this particular spell, Tracker Switch. I'm thinking of building another build that doesn't need Tracker's Reach but still uses Time Cannot Heal. I'm still looking into it. We'll have it in a day or two. So, after that, nothing too special. We want to debuff enemy twice, so we want to get the bleeding and also the rend damage onto ourselves. Because we have God Amongst Men, we can only do Toxic, Physic and Rend, which is fine with Bleeding Edge, which is the biggest source of damage for us. We definitely will come back to this perk, one of my favorite perks. It is the Salvatore Anchor. Basically, this and the passive give us additional resistance or additional HP, and also more regen, depending on the booster or the heavy armor you wear. You can go with dodge, but currently I haven't figured out the dodge yet. It's not showing that much. I went for more critical chance, and also I went for one block, I increased resistance. Followed by that, we can have any chance of blocking. I went for more blocking that give enemies weakness and more weakness. And also, because I'm giving enemy debuffs, there's a chance to multiply that by 2. Now the moment I get 10 stack of weakness because I'm debuffing enemies, I will actually increase my damage by 30%. So all in all, we actually benefit from debuffing enemies and ourselves, on top of the rage gain. Nothing else that's too special. Here we got 400 rage, here we got another 150 rage. The rage factor is that we actually stay above a maximum rage for the maximum amount of damage output. We'll probably stay above 1000 rage likely, and this means we get the double rage benefit of having, double damage over 750, and also we'll be just getting more perks with unspent rage. So let's look in the leveling path. It's very straightforward as usual, standard warrior path, but here after pathing this one with the critical chance score, you can consider pathing into here for the heat of battle. But if you're not really short on rage, don't worry about this. Path forward and go directly into the frenzy blows for the additional damage. This will help you level so much faster, just clear monsters faster. After that, if you think you lack of rage, one thing you can do is take 3 points here for the rage taken. So this way you're looking at 35 rage taken. Or what you can do is you can path all the way up here for the duty of exterminate. This will give you about 400 rage by perking those. If you're looking for damage, what you can do is, I don't recommend getting God Amongst Men first, by the way, because early games you can get rings, you can get amulets that actually give you other stats, and if you remove those damage, you actually do reduce damage. So what I recommend is if you're missing damage, you can actually come over here. Where are they? You can actually come over here. So you can path over here. It does take a few perks, but once you get the merciless lethality with enough critical rate over at least 25%, you do decent damage. And after that, it's mostly about the synergies and combinations. Once you perk into the fatal pack, you actually start doing damage to yourself. This is when you want to stop the bleeding or you want to not die, make sure you cast Juggernaut on yourself. Don't press it twice. If you press it twice, it will burst and do a damage. So followed by that, this is defensive, the Die Ejector. This is pretty defensive. Oh, sorry, this is offensive. So 1 defensive and 1 offensive. This also increases the max stack chances to 5 more. After that, what you can do is, I do recommend having 2 choices. If you're going for more block, or if you want to block and debuff enemies, which is defensive and offensive, come over here after picking that. Or you can pick those first actually, for more defense and more blocking. So you can pick those for the block with anything and also block efficiency. It's as if you got a free shield. Go here for the secret oath and also get the additional weakness. Also, this block is optional. Don't worry about this if you don't have enough points. After that, you do want to go defensive. Previously, I was going for the 10 points with Branded Burst, and I don't think I needed that much anymore because I just lifesteal everything back. So I recommend coming here for the late game defensive mechanics. Here you can have increased resistance, increased physical damage, and overall you get a chunk of resistance with the heavy armor and heavy helmet. Or you can get a chunk of HP regen with bruisers. Mostly this build is very flexible in the sense that you're not so dependent on your control of rage, because when you take damage, you are guaranteed to get rage, and this does not depend on your Blood for Blood. Blood for Blood is additional damage. Simply because Blood for Blood only gives you 45 rage, and before you level up, you're looking at 20-30 additional rage per second. But when you just take a hit, which you don't have to take a hit from our monsters, you kill them and you debuff yourself, and you take mini hits like 5 and 10 damage here, quickly you lose a bit of HP, but you just get all the rage back. And this keeps you high. And the new perks with the Bleeding Edge means we can do damage much quicker, and the quicker damage, the more chance of getting them debuffed. So, let's go into the talents here, and then we're going to the items last. With the talents, we had a quick game through at the start, so Rage Regen is not bad, because we had so much quick time transfer, so if I'm really short on Rage, I can just jump like 3 times, like 1, 2, 3, and Rage all back, because I have 4 stamina to jump with this perk. And this means I can regen about what, 400, was it 520? Yeah, 520 rage instantly by jumping. When I jump, I stun enemies, which gives me more ailments that increase my bleeding edge damage. We can deal increased damage after landing. We also buff ourselves for each enemy hit. So this is a decent movement, debuff, and also stun and buff. And also rage regen. Second rage regen is going to be the shout. Shout here we go for resistance for enemy hit. We are going for additional block, very good for us. The increased reaction is very nice because it does have a decent CD here, and this allows you to always have this on. After that, critical chance is great. Effectiveness means everything gets increased. Here is 20%, now it's 25%, and similarly everything else around. Global Leech. I start to like Global Leech because it saves a few perks, and this is higher than what I can get from like 2 passive nodes. So if you go for passive nodes here, it takes 2 passive nodes to get 4%. And yes, it is Global Leech here, but why don't I just get a buff and get it all with this perk? So 7% is enough. We're hitting about 100, 200, or 500,000, and that's enough. Tracker Switch. I only use this on big monsters or monsters I have a little trouble in killing, because the whole concept is you debuff enemies so they take double damage from status. Also, you debuff enemies, so they take additional damage from Bleeding Edge, which gives you more damage for more ailments that stack to an enemy. Biggest factor here is going to be the ailment stacks, and now we have the bleeding, we also have the status. The fact I have weapon damage on this one means for the big boss or the champions that we can't hook into us, they will still take damage and they will still get debuffed. Everything else just reduction to cooldown, and 3 reduction to cooldown, and the last one is we get more rage, because this build is about infinite rage. Juggernaut is the most defensive perk over here, and I don't usually use it until I'm about to die at very low HP, because I don't bring any of the potions with HP, so this way I can just close my eyes and spam and just click my potions, and that's what I used to do. Oh, let me try to show you guys. So basically I was like, potions, save me. Potions, and yeah, I can just click potions all day because I have like 5,000 stacks of rage here with the potions. Now, basically Juggernaut, everything that's defensive, increased rage when we take damage. Again, another factor we get more rage. Here we go knockback to stun and reduce damage from projectiles, increased absorption with percentage block, which we have 70% at least. We can get more though when we look at the items. Increased shield and also lower cooldown. Very nice. Next up, we're going for Blood for Blood, which is the cornerstone of additional damage for this build. This also regens 45 rage per second, and as we spoke earlier, enemy take increased damage when they are suffering from overtime effect. We guarantee ourselves to only do overtime ailments, which is poison and bleed, and after they are bleeding, they take more damage from us. After that, the circle will follow us, and this gives us more rage regen. This gives us the chance to, debuff them more likely. Followed by that, increased reaction, because you do have to cast every 8 seconds if you want to maximize your damage, but you don't have to, only for the boss for now. This gives us increased attack speed just for the additional animation. You cast faster when you have this, but it's not that necessary. And last, the enemy will explode is something more drastic and more fun and more elaborate. Not necessary, you can pick anything else. The key is just so it follows you, you do more damage and more rage regen. That's for now for this build. So because you have the more rage regen, when you move around you actually get more rage. The rage flies so fast. And lastly, Bleeding Edge. The biggest change here is we're going for projectile speed, we're going for the area of effect. This means better map clear. So if you look at it, I used to go with reduction to rage, but only 26, right? And I also used to go weapon damage and weapon damage. Weapon damage gives me a little more, so I'm looking at losing about 5,000 damage, but I have much better map clear. It's faster, it's more wider. And this follows you, and this is the cornerstone of Bleeding Edge. You're here to debuff enemies. When they get to massive debuffs, they die to you in about 500 damage, 500k damage, 600k, sometimes 800 to 1 million damage. So this build still uses some of the best game multipliers. It uses the additional rage multiplier, it uses status multiplier, it also uses the critical hit multiplier. So those are the best game multipliers. What it doesn't use is, well, I'm actually looking into that next time. It doesn't use the curse multiplier. Where's the curse? Is it hiding from me? Curse, where are you? Let's see if I can find it. Hey, did I miss it? Ah, there it is. The Occult Affliction. I'm very close to it, but this is only for occult damage. I'm thinking of making an occult damage build with this one, because if you can happen to debuff enemies with lots of curse, and you're looking at 210 increased damage. So we use three of the 4 best multipliers right now for damage, and it's wonderful. Very fast and very speedy. Jump around. It's just so nice to have a wide circle, right? Definitely have to say it's beautiful. Now, let's look into items. I have been crafting those items, not a lot, just, you know, if you look at our crafting guide, this is how I crafted. And I've been crafting those items using the fact of those ingredients here. I do have a guide to show you guys for the full details and a bit of demonstration how I crafted those. So items, we want rend damage, physical damage, or toxic damage. They are all the same, I just realized. So it doesn't matter what you socket in, this will be the same. But if you have rend damage on lifesteal, you do want rend damage sockets. Followed by that, you're looking for some cooldown reduction, not a big factor, just so I can rotate my skills faster. And I happen to roll lots of cooldown reduction to 30%, I'll take it. And I'm going for heavy helmet and heavy chest, just for the resistance. If I take my items off, my resistance will go very low, which I have to drop those to show you guys. So, oh, look at the light. So if I take those two off, I'm looking at 1,500. If I put those two back on, I'm looking at 3,000 and 2,000. Very good. After that, what you want to look for infinite rage build is 4 pieces of reduction to rage and willpower. So look at 30%, 30%, 32 and 26%. It's not necessary to go this high. About 20% is okay as long as the other stats are okay. Here, 3 of the 4 stats are really good. And sometimes 4 of the stats are really good. So majority of the time I'm looking for material damage, toughness, ferocity, rage reduction. Anything else that's on top of that, I'll just take it. Followed by that, I'm also looking for physical damage, rend damage, and toxic damage on the amulet. You cannot get the elemental damage on the elements. You cannot get elemental damage on the amulet, but you can get the all triple material damage here if possible. Usually you only get 2, and this is not bad. I just want this for damage. As for the reigns, a big source of my HP is coming from the reigns. Here I'm looking at 10,000 HP, so if I take one down, I'm looking at 90,000. Oh, I'm looking at 100,000 HP. So now I went to 90,000 and 80,000 HP. So there you go. Nothing of a big factor for the reigns, just great HP, and I built it so that I can't find material damage here. That's physical, bleeding, and also rend. I can't find it on the ring after testing multiple times, so I went for material damage. And this give us physical, bleeding, which is rend, and also the toxic. Nothing too special. 3 of the attributes should be good. Here we only have 2 good attributes. I just stopped from there. The belt. Just as long as you have toxic, physical, or rend, and also HP, it's not bad. So overall, the gears are pretty straightforward. I do want to socket more for block chance, because if I block, I have more weakness debuff onto the enemies. I debuff weakness onto myself, but I remove that for 30% more damage. So I managed to get 9% block here. I managed to get more HP here. I should change this into block. I should change those 2 into block if I can. And that will give us 37% more, or 27% more blocking, which will take us, where's my blocking? It will take us close to 97 or 96% blocking once I have everything on block, which is just enough for us to block all the time and debuff everyone and ourselves. So that's all, guys. It's a very fascinating build, and just because the rage gain, it's just so fast. I'll show you guys the range, the usage of the range. It's beautiful. Usually I see people not have enough rage, but as long as you don't spam like what I did there, I'll just give it another second. It comes back to full. Make sure you have this for more rage rigid. So the rings, the sockets transfer time for the willpower, transfer time. I think 2 is enough. I went for 3 just to make sure I can transfer everything when needed. Once I transfer time, I mean to change willpower into rage much quickly. So I scream once, it just goes there. It doesn't wait. So it doesn't wait that I can't get there, so there's a massive bar in between. That's the transfer time. Lastly, the sockets that is optional, you can go with bleeding damage, you can go with critical hit chance. Those are not bad, depending on what you need. If you need more damage, yeah, go for the bleeding. If you need more critical rate, if it's not at 50, go for more critical chances. So, wonderful build, and I'm so happy to discover this one with the help of our friend Valorian, who's sharing his build with his ranger and his rogue kind of like rage ranger. I saw that and I kind of like looked into, you know, the warrior side of it. It's perfect. Loving this, and I also found this perk as well. Oh, it's so beautiful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this infinite rage build and give it a try. The file will be shared onto Discord, and also this file has a special bonus. It has all the crafting ingredients for you to craft anything you want. And as a small tip for the offline account, if you finish all those ingredients, don't worry, just copy the file again, paste it in, and you have all the ingredients again. That's what I did for last night. I spent like 3 hours crafting, making sure we have enough so we can play around. So, thank you again for watching, guys. If you like my guide, please subscribe onto YouTube, please follow Twitch, and also please leave a nice comment and leave a like if you like the videos. If you do have your Twitch Prime, please use it on the Twitch channel. That'd be a massive help for me to sustain myself as a full-time streamer and a full-time YouTuber. Thank you so much for your support, guys, and I'm always happy to help, so ask me questions on Discord, YouTube, or Twitch. If I don't get back to you, just ping me again, because sometimes it's a lot of messages. I don't have the energy to go through all of them. I'll try my best, but I'm getting very fatigued with the overwhelming amount of questions. I'll try my best. Thank you again. I'll see you guys next time. Spin for the win! Super spin!